Today, of course, walking a fundamental right. As a child, do you remember going to school, walking to school that is, or walking to the shop? Would you send your children to shop? Walking. And would you forget about children? Would you walk to the shop today? Bravery Awards, I think today the next headlines, the near future, would be giving a Bravery Award to a person crossing the road. Successfully crossing the road probably in Hyderabad. The statistics are so shameful that 5 pedestrians die every week on an average and 40 get injured. Now whether it's injury is, breaking a leg or injuring a leg or injuring more than that, they don't get sick leave, there's no medical leave, there is no medical expenditure provided for the poorest of poor. And the worst part of it is, even people who use public transport to their workplace use an auto to cross the road. Yes, you've heard it right, use an auto to cross the road. So use public transport, if at all you can, but remember you have to pay for the money to the auto driver also. No parking. I'm sure we have seen it a number of times, no parking. Now, do we follow the law at all? And is there any law at all? Does Hyderabad have any laws for parking? There are several boards, no parking zone, towing zone, etc. But I think none of us, all of us read it, of course, and as my good friends have told you just now, yes, we all understand what it means. But do we follow it? Now, don't walk, use a car, right? And does it not remind you of, if they don't have bread, let them eat cake. My poor footpath, it has many uses. One of them, of course, is that it's a place where dustbins are kept. They build urinals. They construct bus shelters. They also erect transformers. And of course, many of us use it as an extension of our homes or offices. We have gardens, beautiful, lovely gardens. And when you ask people, is it not an encroachment? They say, encroachment, madam? We are talking about go green, here. It's not an encroachment. It is actually, we are making it go green. There's a board there, go green. So it's an encroachment. Is there any law for it? Law against it, rather. Yeah, what happens when these access paths, that is footpaths and pedestrian crossings are absent? These pedestrians are on the road, on the carriageway that is, and also they cross the road wherever they want to. They see their friend there, I'm sure girlfriend probably, and they just say run across. Or they see their son there and they want to target, where is my son going, whom is he going with? So they just run across the road, and that's the haphazard, chaotic traffic that we have in our city of Hyderabad. And who is affected? Each one of us is affected. The drivers are affected because it's really traumatic to drive on our city roads. It's torture. I don't know what you can call it. The poor APSRTC drivers, that is the road transport drivers. And the children, how do they cross the road? The aged, the physically challenged. Most of them are under house arrest. Do we need the right to walk? We have already the Right to Education, Right to Information Act. Do we really need the right to walk? Do we need it as a fundamental right? Is it needed at all? That's the question we actually are addressing now. For right to education to be getting implemented, children have to go to school, right? Unlike my friends just now who said there's no need to go to school probably, but children as of today at least, let's assume that, they need to go to school. How do they go to school? For the poorest of poor, the economically weaker sections of society, the children have to go without escort. There is no mummy, daddy, chauffeur to escort them to the school gate and say, bye darling, take care, see you in the evening, and there's nobody to pick them up in the school after school hours. Now, that's a fundamental right. Right to education. The next thing is livelihood. Roti, kapra, makan. The livelihood part, you have to go to work. You have to go to your place of work in order to earn your bread, butter, and of course jam part of it. Now, for people of the poorest of poor, they walk to work. In fact, Hyderabad, 40% of Hyderabad's workforce walks to work. Yes, you heard it right, it's 40% of Hyderabad's workforce which walks to work. Public transport, as has been said several times, I'm sure, all of us need to go to the public transport stop or bus station or bus shelter or, railway station. So we have to walk the first mile and the last mile. These pedestrian paths are often called the first mile or last mile of public transport. Health, of course, you have to drive to KBR Park. In our city, you do nothing else, but if you want to walk, you drive to KBR Park, which is the biggest place where you can walk safely. Now, the other thing is, when everybody, studies have shown that, diabetes, obesity, hypertension can be controlled by walking, among others can be controlled by walking, and pollution too is reduced because of the access paths, availability of access paths. Footpaths should be like lung spaces in a city, and even the poorest of poor African nations have highways. Pedestrian infrastructure, in fact, is an index of developed nations and indeed of a democracy where everyone is equal. I would like to just quote here, the single biggest difference between the infrastructure of an advanced nation and a backward nation is its footpaths, not highways. What's in it for me? Why do I bother about it? It's everybody benefits from this. More so, all of us realize that when we decrease conflict zones, we decrease accidents, we save lives. I dream of this and this. This is from Bhubaneswar, incidentally. And pedestrian refuge, you have wide roads, you need this to happen. This is probably one of the saddest slides that I have today to present. I have no words to describe this footpath stretch, which is alongside the longest flyover in India, probably Asia. It's 11.5 kilometers in length, has costed the government exchequer 450 crores of rupees. This 450 crores could have been used to build 3,000 kilometers of footpath length of 8 feet width, that is 2.4 meters width almost. And it could construct 6,000 pedestrian crossings almost. Now this would have benefited more than 40 lakhs of our population, which is more than half the population of our city. So this is a tragic tale of the story of the footpath here alongside Raitu Bazar, Mehdipatnam. What needs to be done? Is there something which can be done by the government? Yes, of course, there's a lot. First, acknowledge the issue first. For heaven's sake, remember that this is a critical issue. This is something all of us need to get right first. Enforce the law. Yes, please. Fix ownership and accountability. Very strange story which is there. I think I don't have time for it today. There's another day, another tale. Have pedestrian policy and policing. Pedestrian policing is very important actually in our work. That pedestrian police is nowhere available in our country, probably nowhere in the world. But world doesn't require it, we require it desperately. And zero tolerance to encroachment policy. We cannot have a mandir and a masjid coming up on our footpaths. Please find different places for it. It's not rocket science. Just now somebody else was talking about not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Please, please. Now encourage public-private partnerships, encourage out-of-the-box thinking like painting competitions like what's been done in Bhubaneswar. Market walking, yeah, this I think is a very important thing to do. Involve marketing gurus, get CEOs to walk and make it a cool thing to do. Today it's seen that if you walk, people say, oh, you don't have even money to buy a motorbike. That's very sad. You mean your father-in-law hasn't given you money? That's even sadder if you ask me. So that state we have to get out of. And when we get out of that state, only when we find the big bosses, somebody big there. We are a feudal society. I don't think we can change it outright. So some big boss like Rahul Gandhi walks. Then everyone will say, oh my God, if Rahul Gandhi can walk to work, so can I. And what can we all do, or you all do, or all of us together do? Lots. Change our mindset for the first thing. Obey the law, please. Become aware of your right. demand your right, remember that you too could be a pedestrian. It's a long fight, but together we will succeed. Let me end by this. It's our own quote. Those who walk cannot decide, and those who decide do not walk. I think this is a tragic tale of the footpath and pedestrian. Thank you very much once again.
That was really great. How has been the response? Everybody has something to, something to back, and how has been the response when you talk about footpath to people, especially young people?
I think during the course of, I've quit my job in 2007 November, and I started this foundation in 2008. Since then, the response has been very good. People have been praising. That's it. The full stop after that. Everybody, including government officials, including GHMC commissioners, have said, oh, you're fighting for footpaths. You are after my heart. After I retire, I'll join you. So that's it. I mean, I don't think I can say anything much more.
I hope more people join her cause. Give it up for Kanthi Kannan.